Homelander from The Boys and Ricardo from Limbus Company. We look at their abilities, durability and strengths to see how they match up in a fight. Let's start with Ricardo. Ricardo's journey begins as an individual working under the middle before earning the prestigious title of Big Brother. His debut in Kanto 5 is shrouded in mystery, appearing first as a silhouette during Pilot's interruption of the Sinner's mission to retrieve the Golden Bowl. With the imminent threat of the Pallet Whale, Ricardo and his allies swiftly retreat, setting the stage for a dramatic confrontation later. Ricardo's full presence is revealed when the Sinners encounter him aboard a colossal ship adorned with purple sails, accompanied by the notorious Twin Cook pirates. His dramatic descent towards the Sinners is marked by his accusations against Heathcliff for stealing luxury hair salon coupons, an act Ricardo deems a grievous sin punishable by the Book of Vengeance. In the ensuing battle, Ricardo demonstrates his overwhelming power, with Dante himself describing him as nearly unstoppable. His ability to humiliate skilled combatants repeatedly underscores his dominance. However, this reign of terror is interrupted by the arrival of the Indigo Elder. Despite being struck by a harpoon and having his shoulder torn apart by the Indigo Elder, Ricardo remains standing and seemingly unfazed. This incredible display of resilience highlights Ricardo's multi-city block level durability, putting him on par with characters like Homelander in terms of withstanding physical damage. His ability to endure such severe injuries without faltering showcases his remarkable toughness and fortitude, making him a formidable opponent in any confrontation. When we look at Ricardo's strength, he is powerful enough to obliterate 6 heavily armored individuals in a single punch. This showcases his immense attack potency, putting him at least at a multi-city block level. This means, in terms of raw power, Ricardo can go head-to-head with Homelander. I forgot to mention earlier, but if Ricardo can take an augmented harpoon and remain standing as if nothing happened, then Homelander's heat vision wouldn't be able to harm him at all. Now, let's talk about Ricardo's speed. But keep in mind, he's more of a powerhouse character who focuses on overwhelming his opponents, rather than relying on sheer agility or finesse. When it comes to reaction speed, Ricardo is surprisingly fast. He can respond quickly to attacks and counter with precise strikes, even when facing multiple skilled opponents at once. This makes him a major threat in close combat, where reacting in the right moment is crucial. While he is not as fast as characters like the Flash or Sonic, his reaction time is definitely above that of peak humans like Batman or Captain America, who rely on precision and sharp reflexes in battle. For combat speed, Ricardo doesn't rely on agility or acrobatics. Instead, he uses bursts of power and tactical strikes to overwhelm his opponents quickly. He might not be dodging attacks like Spider-Man, but his blows are heavy, calculated, and capable of ending a fight in just a few moves. It's like a freight train barreling through everything in its path, fast enough to deliver devastating results, but not with the finesse of a speedster. On top of that, Ricardo has the ability to paralyze his enemies or slow them down during a fight. This power means that once he closes the gap, his enemies are at a serious disadvantage. They can't react or escape as easily, which allows Ricardo to control the flow of the battle even more. In terms of travel speed, Ricardo isn't the fastest character over long distances, but he doesn't need to be. His movements are methodical and focused on getting the job done when it matters, not on rushing across the battlefield. So, while Ricardo is not about raw speed or agility, his reaction time, brutal efficiency in combat, and the ability to slow down his opponents make him a formidable fighter. Once he is in range, there is no escaping his overwhelming strength and control. The ability you see on the screen shows that Ricardo is a character who gets stronger the more damage he takes. In other words, the longer the fight goes on, the more powerful he becomes. Now that we've covered Ricardo, let's move on to Homelander. This guy is the powerhouse of the Boys universe, and he's absolutely terrifying when it comes to raw strength and abilities. Let's break down what makes Homelander such a dominant force. First off, let's talk about Homelander's superhuman strength. This guy is ridiculously powerful. He can casually lift cars, crush steel with his bare hands, and overpower pretty much anyone in his universe. If you remember that scene in The Boys where he crushes a man's skull like it's nothing, that perfectly demonstrates the level of his strength. In terms of power scaling, his strength is easily multi-city block level. Next, we have Homelander's heat vision. This is one of his most iconic abilities and also one of his deadliest. His heat vision can slice through steel, vaporize people in an instant, and even cause massive explosions. However, against Ricardo's incredible durability, it wouldn't be nearly as effective. Ricardo has shown the ability to withstand devastating attacks, so it's unlikely that Homelander's heat vision would do much more damage than scratch the surface. Now let's talk about Homelander's durability. He's practically invulnerable to most forms of physical harm. Bullets, useless. Explosions, they barely scratch him. Knives, forget about it. In fact, Homelander can tank city-level attacks without any visible damage. This makes him incredibly hard to injure. Let's talk about Homelander's speed. He is hypersonic, and he has several feats to back this up. For instance, he saved Billy Butcher from the explosion of Madeline's bomb vest, moving fast enough to act before the blast could harm anyone. He's also shown incredible reaction speed, disarming 3 terrorists and releasing a woman in the blink of an eye. On top of that, he's been flying at supersonic speed since he was just 8 years old, as he himself stated. While Homelander's hypersonic flight speed is impressive, Ricardo isn't necessarily about outright speed. Instead, his reaction and combat speed make him an entirely different threat. Ricardo may not chase down a jet, but his ability to react quickly and paralyze his enemies could make speed less of a factor in this fight. Homelander's stamina is undeniably superhuman. He's shown feats like enduring multiple hits from both Soldier Boy and a Temp V empowered Butcher, all while still managing to overpower them. Even as a kid, he could withstand exposure to extremely high temperatures for hours, despite the immense pain. But here's the thing, against Ricardo, stamina doesn't really matter. Ricardo has the unique ability to grow stronger the longer a fight drags on. No matter how long Homelander can hold out, the outcome becomes inevitable as Ricardo's power only increases over time. In a prolonged battle, Ricardo would ultimately secure the victory.
Boss, that guy Homelander is heading straight for us. What should we do?
In a head-to-head battle, the strategy is what defines the winner. Homelander relies on overwhelming power and intimidation to crush his enemies quickly, but Ricardo thrives in drawn-out battles. The longer the fight lasts, the more Ricardo's pain-scaling ability tilts the odds in his favor. So while Homelander might dominate in the early stages of the fight, Ricardo's growing power and relentless endurance will eventually turn the tide. His ability to weaponize damage taken and counter Homelander's most powerful attacks gives him the edge. In the end, the winner would be Ricardo, but it wouldn't be an easy fight. Both would leave the battlefield in shambles, but Ricardo's adaptability and escalating power make him the last one standing.